Okay guys, so here's the track I just recently finished. It's about just over 19 feet long. Unfortunately, I couldn't go the full 20 feet for the scale quarter mile because of this pipe right here was in the way of the track. So it's a little bit short, but makes me happy, so I'll just go with it. This weird part right here you probably never seen before. It was an idea I had that originally I was hoping that cars would go up here and then run out of energy and just come back on their own. But it turns out that some of the cars were just a little bit too fast or too efficient, so they would go off the edge of the track. So I made these little bean bags to stop the cars. But I'm gonna have to rework that design because the top heavy cars tend to hit the bag and then sort of flip up a bit, and sometimes they fly off the track and right onto the concrete, so that's not good. But I'll give you a quick race here. These are my top two cars right now. I haven't gotten to the stage where I'm actually modifying them or putting graphite in the axles, but I got 3 separate switch stations here. The yellow switch is the reset switch for the timer, and then the green switch, instead of having the original Pinewood Derby timer, had it set up so that if you had a solenoid gate, when you closed the gate, it would reset the timer, and then when you actuated the gate, it would swing open and hit a switch, and that would actually start the timer. Well, instead of doing all that, I decided to use a push button, which starts the timer and also opens the gate. So my theory is you avoid the complications of trying to set up the gate to properly hit the switch. Some people were having some kind of bounce back issues with their switch, which would mess up their timer. And then I've also seen people have magnetic issues where their solenoid, the magnetism somehow screws with the wiring and messes up the timer from that method. So I've run more than this amount of cars right here. That's my current rack and stack, but I have another bin of ones that didn't make the time. And I haven't seen a single hiccup yet on my timer. So I would say at least 50 races, no hiccups. But yeah, I was going to give you an example race. So these 3 switch stations, I wanted to mention, they're all wired up in parallel. So any one of them will function on their own. So for example, I'm going to hit this switch right here to start. And here we go. Oh. Yep. There's one race. And then the yellow switch does a reset. Yep, pretty convenient. The wiring setup for the gate. So I did a kind of unconventional setup. I have a lot of RC airplane experience, and I originally had, these were 2 separate mechanical retract units for airplanes. So in the wing, like landing gear and wire would be connected to that, and then they would be connected to their own servo, and that would raise and lower the landing gear. Well, I originally had 2, and I had one servo with a Y setup for the music wire that connected the push rods, and it wasn't symmetrical, so one gate would lower slightly faster than the other one. They weren't even, and to correct that, I kind of redesigned this. These 2 pins are actually connected by one bar across, so they always go down symmetrically at the same time. Here, let me disconnect the power on the servo. And I could just run it manually, but that servo drives that. And this is actually a digital semi-high speed servo from an old helicopter I used to have, and I didn't fly it anymore, so it was nice to find a new home for that. But yeah, I did notice one problem with that setup is because the pins rotate on like a circular axis, that this gasser has kind of a high nose there compared to most other cars. This is one of the lowest ones right here. But for example, I'll show you. This gasser is gonna, on the go, it's gonna really jump ahead of this car. This, what was that, exotic? Exotic. So, here we go. Ready, set, go. But the exotic passes them right up, so. I think I need either a faster servo or I just need to rework the whole gate design. But I still would like to use a servo because, I don't know, it's just what I know and I think it's pretty convenient. To make this work, I did have to rework the Pinewood Derby timer system. There's a website for this timer system I'm talking about, and I'll put a link for it in the description. But I did have to modify the code a little bit. For one thing, I had to add a servo library file to the Arduino code, and then a command for the servo to open and close. The servo actually, it opens the gate when the start button's hit, and then when the race is complete, the servo will actually close the gate. I don't know if you just heard that, but it just closed on its own. But I just did that so that I could just put a cars up there if I need to, but otherwise it would reset if you hit the reset button. But yeah. I think that's pretty much it. The differences in my setup. Instead of putting the typical, most people will put like everything inside their gate display box, I thought I'd go a bit more aesthetic looking and put the Arduino separate down here. And I actually use the Arduino Uno so I could keep my bigger board in for future experiments. But that's kind of pretty much it. Yep, I need to redo these stop bags. Maybe I'll put some walls up so that the cars can't go flying off the track. But yep, that's it. Thanks for watching.